And now, live from the studios of Freedom's Phoenix, Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. We had a busy weekend this weekend. A lot of stuff going on. One of the main things was a lot of us went to gardenpool.org. Now, unassuming, home in Mesa, lower middle class. I mean, it's a relatively small backyard. It has a swimming pool in it. The backyard probably maybe could have fit 2 swimming pools, and that's about it. That's about how big it was. Half of the yard swimming pool. The other half they had, where some goats were in a little pen. They had, citrus trees that they're doing with their gray water that they were watering and so on. They're really doing this self-sufficiency thing. What they did is they had a tour. These people had a tour that they charged $5 for you to go tour their garden pool, aquaponics, totally self-contained, closed system of chickens, fish, vegetables. And it's, the chickens poop to feed the algae, that feed the fish, that feed the wastewater, that feeds the plants, that then filters the water that goes down in back to the fish, and it's all powered by a pump run by a solar collector. And all they do is, I tell you what they did. They turned sunlight into food. That's how it worked. That's what the biosphere does anyway. And they just said, we're going to help you along here a little bit. So we had them come on the show for 2 hours and talk about the whole process from beginning to end. So you can go look at that. Did you already put the link to the previous show? Sierra will go ahead and put up the link to the previous show to where we had Arizona Breakfast Club where they came and spent a couple of hours, got a lot of questions from the audience, so on, walking us through the process of how they came to discover all of this. We did a 2-hour radio show, which is very popular. And we set up a time. We said, okay, first chance we get is like a few weeks later. We said, all right, we'll go ahead and put it up on Freedom's Phoenix, and all the people here that are local, we'll go ahead and spend a day, go over there, and a few hours you can give us the full tour. We went over about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon. There was about, 40 people there. I mean, it was a lot. And probably about half of them was from us, and I didn't know that they had other people there, so they had 2 shifts. The wife, she took us up to outside part, went around and everything while they were down in the pool in this covered. And then we switched. And we probably had like 3 groups that were rotating. What they do is you arrive, and it's on a corner. They have a relatively busy street. It goes, north and south, and then a side street goes east and west, and they're right on the southwest corner. Across the street, catty corner from them, is an elementary school. And I asked them, I go, have you opened this up to the elementary school? Come over here. And they go, no, but we have a lot of homeschool people coming. Hey, no, we don't need, they probably just soon not have a bunch of, public school hoodlums running across the street throwing whatever. They just, soon not. So this was a very interesting tour of a simple process by which they've turned sunlight into food on a much larger scale than I think a lot of people anticipated. They have been successful in creating a much more closed system than other aquaponics because of the addition of a few things. I'm going to explain it to you real quick. We'll just spend this segment on it because I think this is really important to encourage you to go to today's archive so that you'll go ahead and take a look at the links to the other shows and so on so you can hear about it. What they did is they had an old pool. They bought this home before they even moved in. The first thing they did is they go, it's going to be thousands of dollars for us. They got, it's a short sale, foreclosure, whatever on this home. So they got it inexpensively, and it had a rundown pool in the back that was empty. Just to fill it with the dirt to turn into a garden or whatever was going to cost more than them just covering it and doing what they did. So they go, this is what we'll do. We'll go ahead and put, what do you call it, rafters or whatever, the trusses over the top of it, and it kind of supported it. And then they put PVC that went over it and covered it with a tarp. At first, they started doing bucket watering of plants. They just had buckets, and they would water it and so on and see how much they could grow in there, and the water would go to the deep end that they'd have to pump out. Then they said, we need to, do a hydroponics, not use so much, you get dirt everywhere and so on. We'll do that. Then they found out about you can add fish down there, and then you just leave the water down to kind of circulate it. You do fish. In the process of doing the tilapia, which I've had before, they're not like a long fish like a trout or something. They're more shorter, like a perch, but they can grow to be 5-6 pounds. So they're not real long, but they're thick. So you have like a breast fillet. When you fillet the fish, it's like, 2 big breasts there, So I'm like, okay, cool. I've had it before. It's very mild. It's nice fish and tastes like, I don't know, not too much like fish. Okay, so I enjoyed it. So what they did is they said, all right, we're going to put the fish in here. It's the waste of the fish is going to be what fertilizes and supplies nutrients for the vegetables. But to get the fish fed, they had to come up with some way to create the algae that it feeds on. And then there's duckweed and some other stuff they got growing that does a great job for the poultry and the fish. And it just multiplies it, it quadruples every few days. I mean, it's just amazing how fast this stuff grows. So what they do is they said, all right, we're going to put the fish in, but we have to create an environment for the algae. So they were getting instructions on the internet saying you need like 6 inches of waste from chickens in order to fuel the beginning of this algae. And they go, well, heck, we'll just put chicken wire over the deep end and we'll just get some chickens, and let them go to town. And then we'll do all this, and it'll just be a process by which we're closing a loop. It's feeding the algae with the chicken waste. They roost up above the deep end. Then the algae grows. Then the algae goes to the fish. And then we have, what am I got? Oh, I'm sorry, that's my phone vibrate. So then it's closed system. So the chicken addition to this was, I guess nobody thought of it or got it to balance or work. It's working great. Then they started things like they needed calcium supplements for the shells for the chickens. Well, usually you get oysters ground up or something like that, oyster shells. So they go, well, they have what they call calcium worms, which are the black soldier flies. They showed a bucket there. It's like a, 20-gallon bucket, a barrel in there, a white barrel. They throw all their compost in there of, food, rinds from watermelons and so on. These black soldier flies lay their larvae in there, and then they crawl up at about a 30-something degree angle, just instinctively that they do once they find a place to crawl up. I guess they think they're going up a branch or out of the dirt or something, and it just drops off into a feeding trough for the chicken. And they had a trough there with just feed for the chickens, and they got these worms that just drop, they're like wax worms, and they just drop right in there, and that's their calcium supplement. So those worms don't last very long. They go, bloop, boom, chicken got it, done. The chicken just hang out there and say, you just keep it coming. So, and it decomposes their waste a lot faster. And the scent, the pheromones or whatever from these black soldier flies repel regular house flies. So I'm going, wow, man, this thing is cool. So then they have the fish they're showing us, and they're pretty good size. I mean, they're a meal. And they get thousands of these a year. So many that they have to have a big catfish in the deep end along with them, and it eats all the tilapia it can stand just to keep the numbers down. And they have a turtle that also eats the fish to help keep the numbers down. All right, cool. They have another on the other side of the shallow end, an entire room that's just for starting seedlings. They put them in rain gutters along with these clay tablets that aren't pumice, so they don't have a lot of holes in for the roots to go in and get caught in, so you can move them everywhere. It's just these clay tablets retain the water. It's a closed system producing a lot of food. And we'll have a video up showing you how they did it. Wow, a lot of people were impressed with it. I know you will be. We'll be right back.